Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're jumping right into the true current state of artificial intelligence. I know, there's so much noise out there right now. We're seeing existential panic, economic fears, and honestly, just a lot of confusion about what AI actually is. But we're going to cut through all of that today. We'll address the very real concerns surrounding it, but more importantly, we're going to discover how to elevate AI from a source of fear into a massive, powerful tool you can leverage. All right, here's our cognitive roadmap for today. First, navigators to neural networks. Second, emergent behavior and the polymath. Third, why AI hallucinates facts. Fourth, addressing common AI fears. And finally, number 5, the ultimate optimization tool. Let's start with section 1, navigators to neural networks, the evolution of artificial intelligence. You know, a lot of people feel like AI just kind of popped out of nowhere, overnight. But actually, it's been around for over 30 years. It really started out with basic route planning. Think about those early car navigators, just trying to optimize a simple path to the grocery store. Then, by the mid-2010s, we shifted into this era of hard-coded agentic AI. Think early Siri. It seemed like magic, but honestly, it was just following rigid rules. If it heard a specific keyword, it did a specific thing. Ask it something weird, and it completely broke down. But fast forward to today, and we've got large language models built on an architecture called transformers. These are massive neural networks. They aren't just following rules anymore. They've learned complex probabilistic distributions of words from basically the entire internet to generate text, one single token at a time. Moving on to section 2, emergent behavior and the polymath, when AI shows novel capabilities. Okay, so what is emergent behavior? Well, because of the massive architecture upgrades from transformers, these models aren't just spitting back exact data anymore. They are essentially massive, high-dimensional mathematical functions that turn non-numerical data into numbers, process them, and output decisions. And they've grown so insanely large that they're actually displaying capabilities that no one ever explicitly programmed into them. They're finding totally brand new nuances and correlations in data that a human eye could literally never spot. It's wild. This has caused a massive shift. Back around 2016 to 2018, before transformers really took off, older models were basically just stochastic parrots. They echoed the exact data you fed them. But today's modern AI, it has transformed into the ultimate polymath. Think about historical geniuses like Leonardo da Vinci or Nikola Tesla. They made outsized impacts because they connected dots across entirely different fields. Because modern AI is trained on millions of fields simultaneously, it acts as a digital polymath, finding those exact same kinds of profound cross-disciplinary connections. Which brings us to section 3, why AI hallucinates facts, the catch behind the magic. Despite acting like a genius polymath, there is a catch, a massive one. These models are fundamentally just word probability machines. They don't actually know facts. They just know how words relate to each other. And that leads to hallucinations, where the AI invents completely false information that sounds incredibly plausible. Take this crazy example. A Stanford professor, who ironically is an expert in misinformation, used research he sourced from ChatGPT in a legal letter. He literally signed it under penalty of perjury. But the research was completely fake. The AI just hallucinated the source out of thin air. So as a subject matter expert, you absolutely have to verify this stuff. You need a solid checklist. First, acknowledge that these models are word generators, not fact databases. Always verify citations against known web data. Actively search for logical gaps or fabricated source names. And use your own expertise to challenge the output. Once someone asked an AI for a Bible verse vaguely related to the number 2, and it confidently spouted out a totally fabricated passage called 2 Corinthians 4:36. No way does that exist. It even made up a whole backstory for it. Your job is to review the output, spot the BS, and challenge it. Let's dive into section 4, addressing common AI fears, jobs, water, and energy consumption. With everything advancing so incredibly fast, it makes total sense that society has some deep existential and economic fears. People are seriously anxious about massive job displacement, severe water consumption for cooling data centers, and the enormous energy usage of running these models. There's so much misinformation swirling around out there, so let's look at the actual facts. Let's do a reality check on energy consumption. Yes, running AI queries definitely uses power, for sure, but we have to keep our daily energy usage in context. Did you know that producing and eating just one single everyday hamburger uses the equivalent energy of generating roughly 800 AI text queries? 800! Everything we consume, from a pair of shoes to a piece of tofu, requires massive amounts of energy. And here is the really exciting part. 10. In just the last year alone, scientific advancements have made Google AI queries 10 times more efficient. 10 times! Plus, hardware companies are getting super smart, literally pulling coolant directly into the microscopic chips to drastically cut down on the amount of water needed. Because AI is basically an optimization tool, it's actually being used right now to optimize our energy grids and discover new, highly efficient semiconductor materials. And that leads us right into Section 5, the ultimate optimization tool, applying AI for productivity. Instead of panicking about job displacement, think about how AI can parse through all your tedious routine tasks. Imagine having an AI agent read through thousands of messy Slack messages or hours of customer interviews, and then generating a perfectly consolidated write-up and business plan detailing what to build next. Stuff that would normally take you weeks to do, now it takes minutes. Your job isn't gone. Your job has evolved. You get to step in at step 3 as the human orchestrator of strategy, using that saved time to actually innovate. Business leaders are applying this to optimize literally every industry. Because math is the language of the universe, and AI turns everything into math. We're talking about analyzing microscopic correlations to find health and cancer cures. We're creating completely custom learning profiles for individual students. It's even structuring elaborate business plans for everyday solo entrepreneurs. There's an amazing story of a pregnant mother who used AI as her co-pilot to structure a business plan, figure out technical requirements, and build out an entire school. It takes massive, nebulous ideas and breaks them down into executable reality. To really grasp this technological leap, think about early electrical appliances. Think about the very first washing machines. Houses back then only had a single electrical socket on the ceiling for a light bulb, and there were 0 on-off switches. You had to plug these massive washing machines directly into the ceiling. It was completely chaotic. People actually got their hair caught and ripped out by these rogue machines because you couldn't easily turn them off. Now imagine if society had looked at those early washing machine accidents and said, "This is too dangerous, let's ban electricity entirely." We would have missed out on the entire modern world. AI is the new electricity. Sure, it has bugs, it hallucinates, and we are absolutely still ironing out the dangerous kinks. But we cannot let fear stop us from harnessing its power. We just need cognitive sovereignty, choosing to think critically instead of blindly outsourcing our brains. So, I'll leave you with this. As this new era unfolds, will you unplug the machine out of fear, or will you step up, demand cognitive sovereignty, and learn to harness this new electricity to elevate your own human potential?